She woke up not because of a kiss, she woke up because the enchantment ran out. The prince was kneeling beside her when her eyes opened, and the first thing she said to him was that he had kept her waiting a very long time. They married that same evening in the castle chapel in secret, with no guests but a single lady in waiting. He went home the next morning and told his family nothing. That was the beginning of the trouble. This is grim and true. Sleeping Beauty is one of the oldest structured fairy tales in Western tradition. Charles Perrault wrote his version in 1697 in a collection called Histoires ou contes du temps passé, Tales of Past Times. The brothers Grimm published their version in 1812 under the name Long Russian, Little Briar Rose. Both begin the same way, both end very differently. The story opens at a christening. A king and queen have finally had a daughter, and they celebrate by inviting every fairy in the kingdom to serve as godmother. In Perrault's version there are 7. The invitations go out. One old fairy is left off the list. She was thought to be dead or forgotten or lost in some enchantment of her own. In the Grimm version there are 13 wise women, and the king has only 12 golden plates to set before them at the feast. The 13th is left out. The result is the same either way. The uninvited one arrives. She sits at the end of the table. When it is her turn to speak, she does not give a gift, she gives a curse. Before the girl's 16th year, she will prick her finger on a spindle, and she will die. One younger fairy has not yet given her gift. She steps forward, she cannot undo the curse, but she can change its shape, not death, a sleep of 100 years, and she will sleep until woken by a king's son. The king orders every spindle in the kingdom destroyed, every wheel burned, no wool spun, no thread wound. The girl grows up in a world with no sharp ends. She is graceful, she is kind, she learns to read and to write and to play music. She does not know what a spindle looks like, she does not know what a spindle is. On the day she turns 15 or 16 in some versions, she explores a part of the castle she has never seen before. She climbs a tower staircase, she finds a door she has not noticed. She opens it. Inside is an old woman, spinning. The woman has been in that tower a very long time. She does not know the king's decree. She asks the girl if she would like to try. The girl reaches out. She takes hold of the spindle. The moment the point touches her finger, she falls. Not only her. The king is mid-sentence in his council chamber and goes silent. The queen sits down where she stands. The horses lower their heads. The dogs lie down in the yard. The cooks slump against the kitchen wall. The fire stops crackling. Even the flies on the walls go still. The entire castle sleeps. Around the castle walls, a hedge of thorns begins to grow. It pushes up through the earth, climbs the stones, spreads outward year by year, until nothing is visible from outside. Not the towers, not the gates, not even the smoke that no longer rises. 100 years pass. Princes come and hear the legend and go toward the thorns. In Perrault's version, some die in the hedge. It holds them and does not let go. In the Grimm version, they simply cannot get through and turn back. Either way, the castle remains closed. Then a prince arrives who has heard the story from an old man who heard it from his grandfather. He sets out. He finds the place where the castle is supposed to be. For him, the thorns turn to flowers. The hedge opens. He walks through a sleeping castle, stepping around, sleeping dogs, sleeping guards, sleeping servants, frozen mid-motion. He climbs the tower. He finds her there, exactly as she fell. He kneels beside her. In the Brothers Grimm version, he kisses her. In Perrault's original, he does not. He kneels, and the 100 years end, and she opens her eyes. She looks at him for a moment, then she says, "You have been a long time in coming." The castle wakes. The king and queen embrace their daughter. That evening, the prince and the princess marry in the castle chapel, quietly, before dawn. One chaplain, one witness. Then the prince goes home, alone. He visits her in secret. He does not tell his parents that he has a wife. He is afraid of his mother, and with reason. She is from an old family, one of those old families. The prince visits in secret for years. They have 2 children together, a daughter named Dawn and a son named Day. He still tells no one. The hidden castle behind its wall of flowers holds his wife and his children and his secret. When the prince becomes king, he finally brings his family to court. His mother, now the Queen Dowager, meets her grandchildren for the first time. She smiles at them. She is very warm with them. Then the new king rides to war. The Queen Dowager moves the same day. She summons the royal steward. She wants Dawn, her granddaughter, the girl, prepared for her dinner that evening, with sauce Robert. The steward has served this family for 30 years. He does not show any expression on his face. He takes the child away. He substitutes a lamb. Later she wants the boy. Day, same instruction. The steward hides the child and serves a young goat. The Queen Dowager eats and says nothing. Then she wants the wife. The steward weeps. He has no substitute for a grown woman. He cannot bring himself to do what she asks. He hides Sleeping Beauty in a cellar with her children and serves a young deer instead. The Queen Dowager does not notice or pretends not to. On the 4th night, she walks near the cellar and hears something, a child laughing. She orders a large iron vat brought into the courtyard. She fills it herself with vipers and toads and serpents collected from the garden walls. She sends for the wife and the children and the steward. She intends to throw them all in whatever order she decides. She is standing over the vat when hooves sound at the gate. The king has come home one day early. He rides through the gate and stops. He sees the vat. He sees his wife and children being led toward it. He sees his mother standing over it, deciding. The Queen Dowager says nothing. She turns and falls in herself. The king is sad. She was his mother, but he is not sad for very long. Perrault ends his version with the pair of morals, as he ends all his stories. The first moral, attached to the sleeping, is about patience, about waiting for the right partner without rushing. The second moral, attached to the ogress and the vat, is harder to read clearly now. It is something close to this. A good wife does not trouble her husband with small worries, even when those worries are her children being ordered for dinner. These morals were not endorsements. They were records of what the world expected from women, and what it considered unremarkable when men failed to protect them. Disney released Sleeping Beauty in 1959. The film kept the spindle. It kept the hedge of thorns. It kept the 100-year sleep and the awakening. It gave the villain a new name, and the dragon, and a dramatic death on a cliff. It removed the second half of the story entirely. There is no Queen Dowager who is a devourer of children. There is no vat of vipers. There is no weeping steward hiding 2 small children in a cellar. There is no marriage conducted in secret and no years of hidden family. The kiss became the ending. The ending became the whole point. In the original, the kiss is barely even there. This is Grimm and true. If you want more of the real stories, subscribe. Next week, Hansel and Gretel. 2 children alone in a dark forest, a house made of bread and sugar, and a woman who keeps a very large oven. Until then, stay in the dark.